So we're going to talk to another happy person, happily retired and pursuing her passion for cycling. Sarah Gravelle-MacKenzie's goal is to encourage and support senior women to cycle. Good morning, Sarah. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to you guys.
Right back at you. How was the summer of cycling this year?
It was just amazing. We had so much fun. We had over 55 women out who had registered to cycle, and we tried so many different routes together, and so many great friendships were formed. And I think that was, the best part, just meeting people that otherwise we never would have had the opportunity to meet. So it was great.
How many newbies do you have coming along all the time?
Once we settled into summer, it became pretty consistent, and then maybe we'd get, one or two every couple of weeks. I think setting up for our second season next spring, we already have about 10, 12 women who are new and are on the list to try and get on and do some cycling with us. So we're going to set up a day where it's just for new people next season.
Not that I like people waiting, but the fact that you have a list, I think, is awesome. That there's that many people that are interested in actually jumping on a bike. And I'm assuming probably they hear from people, the social aspect usually is what brings people in. Then they realize, hey, this is actually, I'm getting a ton of exercise and it doesn't even feel like I'm just hanging out and having fun, right?
Exactly. Women all the time go, oh my goodness, how is it already like an hour to an hour and a half we've ridden? It feels like 5 minutes, right?
Oh, riding is the best. It's so good.
It is.
It makes you realize, like, why wasn't I doing this before?
No kidding.
It's getting colder. Obviously, winter is coming. Do you have any events going on right now or any events coming up? And remember, we talked about winter riding. Maybe you want to expand on if you winter ride or if you're doing winter groups, whatever you want to talk about.
Sure. What we're going to do, we wanted to keep the group together, and we also want to have an opportunity for other women to sort of find us as a group. So we've started up fall and winter activities. So right now, Rose McDonald, who is also the co-founder of Cycling with Sarah, and I have set up a hiking series. So we'll be hiking every Monday and Thursday at 1 o'clock. The hikes will be around an hour long, but it's sort of a loop system. So say we're on the Cedar Bog Trail at Birds Hill Park. It's 3.5 kilometers. Well, everyone will do that loop once, but those that want to do it again, we can all go for a second time if they want a bigger hike. Then come the winter, we want to add in snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, and I want to introduce some fat bike riding. Rose and I both bought fat bikes last week, so we are really pumped for the snow to come. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but we're like, all right, bring it on. We want to get out in our fat bikes. For
sure, 100%. The fat bikes is such a different ride than a regular bike, eh?
No kidding. It was the first time I tried one. I've winter cycled for 2 years, but I did it on sort of a hybrid bike that I put studded tires on.
Right.
But it was like, I want up my game. I want a fat bike. So we bought them, and Bikes and Beyond are looking towards putting maybe a rental package together so women can, come out for an afternoon and try it and see if they fall in love with it too.
Yeah, fat bikes are strange. I just find like I said, it's a different kind of ride. Those fat tires can go over things, and it doesn't even affect the bike, as compared to the skinnier tires on, let's say a hybrid or a road bike. You can just roll over a lot more things, hey?
Yeah, it's just such a smooth, like you said, it's like floating over it. We took it out on some sand. We went out to Birds Hill, and it was like so smooth and fun.
Your groups, very popular. How big are the groups? How big? I'm just curious what your plan is. Obviously, it's getting more and more popular. You have a certain size. Are you planning to expand it? Make it larger? Because again, you're just going to get more and more people interested. It's just a great activity.
Well, what we're doing to grow it, to make it bigger, Rose and I have been actively recruiting volunteers, and we were pretty successful this year. About 4 women sort of stepped up and said, I want to be, I can do the ride leader position, or I can do the ride sweep, which is the person at the end of the ride. So for next year, we are going to do, instead of twice a week, we're going to do 3 times a week, and that's to attract more women and be able to reach out and get them signed up for rides, because like you said, the interest is phenomenal. And we're also looking at starting a chapter in South Winnipeg. So we're in the works of meeting with Woodcock Cycle and talking to them, and they're very interested as well. So we'd have our Northeast running out of Bikes and Beyond, and then a woman who rides with us now and lives in that area said she'd be interested in being a ride leader out there. So I think for the coming year, that seems like enough growth. I don't want to grow so fast that we can't keep it going, right?
For sure.
So it's slow and steady growth, and maybe after, next year, then the following year, look at maybe the west end of the city.
How do people get more information about your cycling program, we'll call it?
They would they would email cyclingwithsarah@gmail.com. They can follow along on Instagram at Cycling with Sarah. And for the fall and winter activities, again, email me. And then what happens is this year we're trying out the app called Spawned, which is an app for team sports and team activities. And then it's a private group. We'll invite people in, and then only those of us in the group will see sort of where we're meeting up from a safety perspective as well.
I loved last time how popular your program is, that you were sitting there on your bike in Transcona on a trail doing this interview, and someone who was walking, listening to this interview, actually knew it was you and listening at the same time. I thought that's pretty cool.
It was so cool. It was really neat. Yeah. And it's just, people are so excited by it. And even this winter, I want to do some tobogganing with the women. And I just think sometimes as adults, we forget how important it is to get outside and just play, right?
Totally. 100%.
So all of this is looking at our physical health and our mental health and our social well-being. So just keeping us all together as a group. It's harder to get out in the winter because it's colder. So that whole team support will be, cheering each other on and motivating each other just to get out there and get moving.
Totally. Very necessary. Sarah Gravelle-MacKenzie, the founder of Cycling with Sarah. Thank you for waking up this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. So we're going to talk.